All right, we're going to get started with the next session here. We have Tatsuya and Kotaro from Mercari, and they're going to talk about how they navigated some Passkey adoption challenges in their deployment. So take it away, guys.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tatsuya Karino from Mercari. I'm an engineer, and he's my coworker. Ooh.
Okay, hello, good morning. I'm Kotaro, a product manager at Mercari. Yeah.
Okay, today we're going to talk about how we can prevent the phishing attack by adopting Passkey. The title is a little bit abstract, but what we want to explain is exactly this kind of a topic. How we can, this one, sorry. Okay, then today's agenda. At first, I want to explain existing Mercari's Passkey adoption. Almost 2 years ago, we adopted Passkey on the Mercari, and then in these 2 years, we got result. So at first, I want to explain this kind of topic. And also, I want to explain the phishing risk in Mercari. And then second, as essential to prevent phishing attack, I want to explain how we can prevent a phishing attack by adopting Passkey. And also, I want to explain how we can handle the remaining risk of the phishing attack on Mercari. And last one is the most exciting topic. We try to do something in Mercari to prevent the remaining phishing attack. We explain the exact deployment case study, and then we show the number. Okay, let's start from the beginning. What is Mercari? Mercari is a consumer application of various services, like Mercari, that is a C2C marketplace, and Merpay, that is a net payment and mobile payment platform, and Mercoin, that offers cryptocurrency exchange. So user can sell something in the marketplace and buy something in the real store, and then also they can buy Bitcoin or Ethereum on this application. And these services are integrated in the single application, so user can use these services only with single user account. That is Mercari. And almost 2 years ago, we started adopting Passkey. At that time, there are three main motivations: to improve the user experience, to reduce the cost of SMS OTP, and to prevent a phishing attack. All these services are expecting to improve the user experience, but especially Mercari and Merpay that expect to reduce the cost of SMS OTP. That is because at that time also that we are very struggle with a phishing attack, and then we try to prevent mitigate the phishing attack by adapting the SMS OTP in several scenarios, like changing the email address or changing the physical address, something like that. On the other hand, Mercoin, the requirement, the security level is totally different from the Mercari and Merpay, that higher than Mercari and Merpay. Because of that, from the beginning, the Mercoin expect the user Passkey to prevent phishing attack. That is the basic expectation. Then 2 years later, we get result. On the Mercari and Merpay, we achieved almost 30% cost reduction on the SMS OTP. And also in the Mercoin, since service launch, there is no phishing victims. That is a very proud number, right? I'm waiting your cheers. Thank you. I'm feeling well. But unfortunately, there are still phishing risk on the Mercari and Merpay. There's actually phishing victims. On the first day keynote, Megan said it is better to expose the number, so I tried to expose the actual victim number in here, but it's rejected from the company, so I couldn't expose it. But anyway, in the Mercari and Merpay, the risk of the phishing attack is a very serious problem, so we have to do something. And next, I want to explain how we can prevent a phishing attack, and then also, I want to explain how we can handle the remaining risk of the phishing attack in Mercari. The first question, Passkey has a phishing license, but why we have to still struggle with a phishing attack in Mercari and Merpay? I think you already know the answer. The answer is very easy. That is because Mercari and Merpay still support the passwords. It's very clear. If user has a very strong intention to use a passkey, the user will not face the phishing attack anymore. But most of the users don't have this kind of an intention. What the user want to do is actually want to use the service, not to log into the account or authentication. So if phishing site requests user to this phishing site, very similar with the Mercari's login screen, if this phishing site requests user to share their credential, like a password or OTP, they will share their credential. And the credential will be shared to the attacker, and the attacker will may access to the Mercari application. That is actually happened in Mercari. On the other hand, on the Mercoin, the Mercoin already removed the password, don't support the password anymore. So if user want to use Mercoin, they have to register the passkey and authenticate with passkey to use Mercoin. So even if user share their password OTP to the attacker through the phishing site, even though the attacker couldn't log into the Mercari, they couldn't access to the Mercoin site. So that is the difference between the Mercoin and the Mercari and the Merpay. And we call this approach as a passkey enforcement. Enforce to register the passkey, enforce to use the passkey to use services. Okay, the next question. Then why don't we apply the exact same policy to the Mercari and the Merpay? Because Mercoin don't have the phishing attack. If we adapt the exactly same policy to the Mercari and Merpay, we don't need to care about phishing attack anymore, right? But the situation is not so easy. Passkey enforcement has several challenges, like UX challenges, the failure mode challenges, and the effect of the business metrics. For example, when we think about the user experience, the very happy part of the user experience is very easy. What the user have to do is just proceed the biometrics authentication. But if user has a lot of device, and if user have to use a lot of passkey provider, in that case, user have to scan a QR code with the device as authenticator. And then not all of the users are very familiar with the situation, especially older consumer. And not only happy path, but also the failure mode is totally different from the passkey-based system. For example, let's think about the password situation. The main failure mode of the password is, I think, forget a password, right? And then how we can recover is try to remember the password, or try to use the password one by one, or proceed the account recovery. That process is very annoying. I don't want to do that, but most of the consumers are very familiar with the situation. They can understand the situation. What's going on? They can understandable. It's annoying, but understandable. On the other hand, on the passkey, most of the users don't know exactly what is a passkey, and most of the users don't know the passkey mechanism. So let's think about when users face the situation, face the error like a passkey not found. Most of the users don't understand what's going on, and they don't understand how they can recover. So when we think about when we compare the passkey failure mode and the password failure mode, which is easier to understand? Actually, password side. So it will affect the business metric, of course. For example, the login success rate or laser success rate. So because of these challenges of the passkey enforcement, not all of the RP can apply this policy to their services. On the Mercoin, to protect their service, we have to accept or justify these challenges because they want to prevent the phishing attack perfectly. But on the Mercari and Merpay, it is difficult to apply this policy. So next question is how we can handle that. If we were expecting kind of a magic to solve this concern, I'm sorry, today what I prepared is a more ordinary, but a more political approach. Limiting the area of passkey enforcement and wait the industry evolution. Let me excuse. These concerns is basically based on the user's habit or user's mind. So even if single RP try to explain very clear detail what's going on and you have to how you can recover, even if explain very a lot, most of the users don't read the explanation. When user face the login failure situation, most of the users complain about it on the Twitter and then leave the service. So to solve this concern, not only single RP, but also all of the stakeholders of the industry have to try to solve their concern. But until then, what kind of a topic single RP can proceed? That is actually the limiting the area of Passkey enforcement, I think. Let me explain the limiting area of Passkey enforcement a little bit more. Let's think about this very simple example application. This application supports only 3 features: log into the account and deposit money into the account, and also the withdraw money from the account. Only these 3 services. And if RP want to apply the Passkey enforcement policy to this application, it's very easy. They requiring a Passkey registration as an account registration timing, and also requiring a Passkey authentication as a login timing. That's it. But in that case, all of the users could face the Passkey enforcement challenges. So to mitigate the risk of the effect of the business metrics, the RP can choose the limiting area of Passkey enforcement. One of the approaches limiting Passkey enforcement to a specific user. For example, Passkey authentication is required if user registers Passkey at the login timing. In this case, it's like a precision approach. In this case, if user don't have the Passkey, they can log into the application with a password, and then they can use all of the services. But once user registers Passkey, they have to use the Passkey at the login timing. In that case, these accounts were perfectly protected from the phishing attack, but they could face the challenges of the Passkey enforcement. That is one of the examples. The other pattern of the Passkey limiting the Passkey enforcement is the 2 specific features. From the RP perspective, which feature we want to protect is actually withdraw feature, right? Even if your account is compromised, then attacker deposits a lot of money to the account. It's no problem. Welcome. But the withdrawal feature has to be protected perfectly. So in that case, requiring a Passkey authentication on the withdrawal is very natural. But we have to care Passkey registration as well. Let me explain. If user creates an account and then deposits a lot of money into the account without Passkey, this account is vulnerable for the phishing attack, actually. The attacker can compromise the account and register the Passkey with the attacker's device, and they can use the withdraw feature, right? So we have to care about the Passkey registration as well. Actually, at the deposit timing, we have to care the Passkey is registered. And then the Passkey registration have to be protected like a withdrawal feature. It means to register another Passkey, we have to require a Passkey authentication. In that situation, even if the account is compromised by the attacker cannot register Passkey, right? The only valid user has a Passkey, and only the user can proceed with withdraw feature. This is a kind of an example of the limiting area of Passkey enforcement. And with that, we can protect the specific feature of user. But of course, another feature of user are still vulnerable against phishing attack. So we have to continuously check the risk of new service and new attack scenario. And also, we have to continuously check the industry evolution. If once the Passkey provider or industry create a situation, this single Passkey can be shared everywhere, or device or platform. If that has happened, the challenge of the Passkey enforcement, it's not challenges anymore, actually. So that is a good timing to expand the area of Passkey enforcement. let's summarize what I said. The passkey enforcement is fundamental to prevent a phishing attack, but the passkey enforcement policy has several challenges. So to control the negative impact to the business network, we have to do something. For example, limiting any area of passkey enforcement to specific user or feature. But gradually, we have to expand the passkey enforcement according to the industrial evolution. That is the theoretical part. Then, next one is a more exciting part. We explain the actual deployment case study and number from Koi-san.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to talk about the result of trying out the methods in Mercari. Karino introduced two approaches. The first is enforce the passkey for specific users. And the second is enforce the passkey for particular user segments. Sorry, specific features and specific user segments. At first, I'll talk about the result of trying to make passkey enforcement for specific features. Our payment service, MailPay, especially care about phishing attacks. Then, we need to improve the security level for users. But even though the improvement itself is important, only allowing passkey is not an easy decision. What is the reason? In our case, the conversion rate of users who complete their registration after pressing the passkey registration button is only 50 to 76%. It is apparently low, right? Feature owners are concerned that introducing passkey may lead to the users leaving the services. There are two challenges to break through this situation. How to create a frictionless passkey registration experience, and how to increase the number of passkey registrations. The next is about passkey enforcement for specific users. Phishing attacks are one of the big concerns for our services. How do you use the passkey to protect users from phishing attacks? The answer is not to allow login with password. Previously, users could log in with passkey, but they also could log in with password. This means that even if the user registers passkey, they could still be at risk of phishing attacks. However, since last September of this year, we have changed our policy as no longer allowed password login. For the users who have already registered passkey. The reason why we changed this policy is due to highly prioritizing the risk mitigation of phishing attacks. It has been several weeks since this change, and we have not received any reports of phishing incidents from users who have a passkey, just as we hoped. The passkey enforcement in login had a positive impact in terms of security. And it's also true that many users are experiencing the positive effects of increased security and convenience thanks to passkey. In order to succeed this enforcement, we have been focusing on our efforts to make users aware of and encourage them to register passkey. Currently, we have 6.26 million passkey users, which is almost around 28% of monthly active users. We believe this figure is not enough and need to increase it. Let me introduce some promotion methods. The left side shows recommending for users who do not have a passkey after login. Yeah, this was a good approach, but one of the most effective methods is the right side. This screen shows the completion page for applying for our credit card service, Mercari. About 30% of users who see the Passkey registration prompt could complete their Passkey registration. We found that, particularly in the case of financial service like credit card service, such recommendation with security awareness was effective. Additionally, we are creating YouTube videos to help users learn about Passkey. Do you want to watch it, right? Okay. How can I start this video?
Trying to another slide currently. Thank you.
Thank you. No voice, but yeah, I don't know why there is no voice, but yeah. This video has English subtitle, it's okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay, it's me? Okay, okay. That's enough. Okay, this video is not published yet, but if you are interested in more details, please feel free to ask me after this session. Then, what are our next challenges now? In order for improving the registration conversion rate, we have two things to try. First one is conditional registration. The idea is still under discussing internally though. The idea, like automated Passkey registration soon after normal login, may improve the current situation. The second one is creating an authentication UX based on Passkey as a standard when introducing new services. Currently, it is not always easy to adapt Passkeys for existing services because of the issues of registration rate and its success rate. However, a new service always has a positive motivation for introducing Passkey because it expects to reduce the phishing risk from service launch, right? So, in today's presentation, we have introduced Mercari's Passkey enforcement approach. Enforcement is applied not only for login, but also for several other features in order for higher coverage of protected users by Passkey. However, there are still challenges for succeeding it. That's all of our talk today. Thank you very much for your attention.
All right, unfortunately, we don't have time for live questions, but will you both be at the question area outside after? Awesome. So you can find them after the session for any questions. So, thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you very much.